Okay, everybody. So, I was talking about how the science industry and the government, they don't study God or the supernatural or ghosts and demons and possession and telepathy, ESP. They don't study any of this. Reincarnation, anything to do with God or anything along the lines of that, they flat refuse to study it. And they take the stance, basically, that it's stupid. It's a fairy tale. If you believe in God, then somewhere along the lines, they have created this science or God. You got to take your pick. And that's stupid because God created the science. I don't care if you believe in God or if you don't believe in God. You should have contemplated God at some point. Surely you didn't just come to the belief that God doesn't exist without contemplation. That would be foolish. But even if you don't believe in God, you have to agree that if God exists, if there is a God, He is the one who created the science. So why is it an either-or proposition? Why do they talk to everybody and present it as if you either believe in God or you believe in science? That should have never been even a question. All science is an explanation of how this world functions. That's it. It's obvious that this world has a function. It's obvious that it functions in a certain way. So what's that got to do with is there a God or not? So anyway, the government takes the stance that there is no God. That's their stance. So, since that is their position, that there is no God, they must come up with an explanation for where everything came from. If there's no God, if God didn't create this world, if God didn't create humans, then where did all this come from? They had to give an answer to that. And the fact of the matter is, if there is no God, if God did not create this world, then there would be an answer to that question. Well, there is an answer to that question. There is an answer to where did we come from? Where did all of this come from? The animals, the plants, this earth, the weather, the water, everything. Where did everything come from? So, the science industry's answer is evolution. Because they have to give you an answer. They have to have an explanation. They have to give you an answer. Because they didn't study. They don't research God. So they have to come up with some sort of explanation. Okay? So, I want you to keep that in mind going forward. And not just about where people came from. Everything. Everything. Everything that they claim to study, they have to have an explanation for everything. And if they're not studying God, if God is real, and they refuse to look at that aspect, then anything they come up with is going to be false. So, evolution. What do you think about evolution? The pyramids. They tell us the pyramids are tombs. It is a fact that no body, no dead body, no mummy, no body of any shape or form has ever been found in a tomb. Not once, not ever. They tell us that they cut those stones with chisels and copper. I make jewelry out of copper. It's a very soft metal. Very soft. But they want to tell me that they chiseled granite with it. I've never been able to chisel granite with copper. And matter of fact, they did tests. They did demonstrations where they were going to chisel a stone with copper. And they couldn't do it. So, this video really isn't... I really don't have a question for this video. It's more of a statement in case you've never thought about it, in case you've never realized it, but the system has put us God or science, God versus science, when it's not an either or proposition. And since they refuse to look at God, they have to come up with some explanation for everything. And if God's not, if God is true, if there really is a God, and God created humans, they still have to come up with an explanation for where humans come from. They still had to come up with something. And what they came up with is evolution. Well, if God created humans, then evolution is not true. Is there evidence of evolution not being true? If there's anything that contradicts that, then evolution is not the answer. That's not where humans came from. But that's how they came up with evolution, is because they had to give an answer. Alright, I just want you to contemplate that, think about that. And if you believe in evolution, if you don't believe that there's a God, just understand that it's not God versus science. If God is real, God created the science. It's not an either or. So, forget that. And if God is real, they still have to come up with an explanation for everything. Alright, that's all for now. Thanks. Bye.